Hello everyone, Storm here, and today I'm coming back to what if Goku landed on Namek. It's been over a year since part 5 was released, so I think this is long overdue. I'm not going to bother recapping this series, so you can watch it yourself using the link in the description and comment section. Anyway, let's not waste any more time and get to this video right now. Alright, so let's pick up right after our gang exits the time chamber. They've all gone in, and let me just brush by how strong everyone is. So Goku and Raditz both have unlocked Super Saiyan Grade 4, but are weaker than Goku and Gohan were in canon. Vegeta and Trunks both have Grades 2 and 3, but Vegeta opts not to use Grade 3 as he does in the original. Nappa has Grade 2, but since he was training with Yamcha, he was held back from unlocking Grade 3. He's also the weakest Saiyan currently. Nail had trained up Yamcha's son Trunks, and the two were now also a lot more powerful. Afterward, Kami would offer to fuse with Nail, since he knew that Earth would be safe with Piccolo, the new Guardian. He does want Nail to train him though, as he is still pretty weak. Nail accepts this, and now after fusing with Kami, is about as strong as Piccolo was canonically. And given that he also has the Kaioken, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, also Trunks has Kaioken as well from training with him. So now our gang arrives at the Cell Games, prepared to do battle with the titular villain. Mr. Satan arrives and gets beat, and next is Goku. He does about as well as in canon, but doesn't have instant transmission, so there wouldn't be any Warp Kamehameha. He eventually loses, and there is no one really to volunteer who is stronger than him. And so, Cell is now honestly just pretty bored. He just beat the strongest guy here, so he's just gonna let anyone come at him now. And so now Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, and future Trunks all charge in at the perfect android, but this isn't gonna do it at all, and he easily swats them all away with little difficulty. Future Trunks then attempts to use Grade 3, but even that isn't enough, so now their only hope is pretty much lost. But that's when Vegeta remembers what happened when they couldn't beat Frieza. Goku gave him all of his energy, and he won. So now in order to save himself, Vegeta has to do the same. He swallows his pride and gives Goku his energy. Everyone else follows that, doing the same, so now at the end, Goku is much stronger. He begins battling Cell and the two go at it pretty evenly, and so it would end in a beam clash, two Kamehamehas hitting each other and equaling out. But everyone's energy was beginning to fade out, so Cell was starting to win the clash. Thankfully, Nail gave himself and everyone else a Senzu Bean, and this leads to them all doing what the Z-Fighters did in the anime, and blasting Cell from behind. This, along with Vegeta's blast, distracts him just long enough for Goku to unleash all that he has. Lightning would start to crackle around him as he pushes even harder and ultimately kills Cell. He then collapses, completely drained of energy. After the dust has settled, Dr. Gero arrives. He had barely survived Cell's previous attack on him and came to apologize for creating the androids that led to this. They accept his apology, and Yamcha offers him to stay at Capsule Corp from now on. It'll be better for him to be around people, and it would also make sure that he never makes a mistake like that again. He agrees, and so they head off. And so now our gang goes back to living their normal lives. Dr. Gero would advocate for 17 and 18 to be brought back to life, since they really hadn't done anything wrong. So they would agree and bring them back to life with their bombs removed. But one change is that since Bulma and Yamcha are married, Vegeta isn't going to be living at Capsule Corp. Instead, Bulma would find him and Nappa a nice home in the city, and this is where something pretty neat gets to occur. Vegeta and Android 18 get together. I mean, come on, Krillin has been dead since King Piccolo's reign, and was never brought back to life. 18 is free, and I think Vegeta and her would be nice together, plus they never interacted in this timeline, so they don't even have any grudges against each other. For the next generation, we're gonna have Regine, Raditz's daughter. He got with Colonel Violet, by the way, if you missed that in one of the previous parts. Goten, Goku and Chi-Chi's son, who was born a few years older than Goten was in canon. And lastly, Marin, who is a half Saiyan born from 18 and Vegeta. And no, she's not a half android, because 18 isn't an android. She's a cyborg, which means that she's still human, just with robot parts. So her kid is still gonna be human. Or in this case, half human, half Saiyan. She is only like 3 though, so she's not really gonna be a fighter at this point. Goku and Chi-Chi would also have another kid who would be named Flu, but he would be a baby, so not really too much to add in there. So yeah, our next generation is pretty nice. Yamcha would become a baseball star, and this makes his son Trunks happy. Now he doesn't have to live his father's dream and instead learns to protect the Earth. So he trains in his off time until he finishes high school. He is a few years older than Gohan was, so no Videl situation here. Anyway, our gang would all reunite for the Budokai, but Supreme Kai and Kibito reveal to them the situation with Babidi. They all head out to Babidi's location, and Piccolo and Raditz get turned to stone. Kibito is also killed by Dabura, so now Goku, Vegeta, and Nail proceed to beat up all of Babidi's goons. Dabura and Nail fight about evenly, and with Dabura's superior magic and Nail's superior skill, neither has the advantage, so Dabura survives like in canon. Vegeta isn't turned into a Majin since he has turned good and fought Goku multiple times throughout the 7 years. So this means Babidi's basically screwed, as Nappa is just gonna step in and kill Dabura. So because of this, Buu is never brought back and Babidi is killed. Easy dub. They then use the Dragon Balls and wish for Kibito to be revived, and he takes Shin and Buu's egg to their planet. Some time would pass and Beerus would eventually show up on Earth. He fights Goku, and most of these events remain mainly similar, with some changes, so I really don't want to spend too much time on it. In the end, Goku goes Super Saiyan God and satisfies Beerus. After this, Vegeta goes to train with Whis, and Goku later goes as well. King Cold shows up to Earth to revive Frieza, but because both Piccolo and Nail serve as Earth's guardians, they're gonna go down and kill him and his men easily. So no Golden Frieza saga happens here either. Moving on, Beerus and Champa have their scuffle and decide to hold a tournament. The roster will be Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, and Nail, with Monaka being selected by Beerus. Most of this stuff is honestly going to go the same, but Nail beats Frost and loses to Vegeta, rather than Piccolo losing to Frost and never even getting to Vegeta. Vegeta is going to need Super Saiyan God to beat Vegeta since he hasn't been using a gravity chamber all this time and is much weaker than he was in canon. Goku is also much weaker due to him not training in Otherworld. Oh yeah, and Goku doesn't have Blue Kaioken, but it still respects him enough to lose to Monaka. After this, the Goku Black arc is going to take place, but honestly, seeing how nobody stood a chance to hit, he's going to take his body instead. So now we've got Hit Black. This means that future Trunks is going to die before he gets to the past. In the anime, Black had been stated to attack for about a year, and it made sense that Trunks was still alive because he was shown to be able to fight on par with Goku Black to a certain degree. Goku Black had power equal to Goku's base form, but if Hit's base form is blue tier, I cannot see Trunks surviving. But the time paradox has to begin with someone investigating Zamasu, otherwise the whole Zamasu scenario wouldn't even happen. So we'll just say that Hit Black was really cocky and didn't go all out. Because if Trunks never goes to the past, then Hit Black never even gets created because he was created after someone investigated Zamasu. And if Hit Black never gets created, then he can't kill Trunks, which means the paradox doesn't even exist, so we can't even do the arc. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to say that Hit Black was just really cocky, like I said. But because he is much stronger, Maya's definitely dying though. She's not getting the fake death. That was bad. Anyway, Trunks goes back and spars with Goku and Vegeta, telling them about his predicament. Hit Black then arrives and would surprise everyone. Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue to try and match him, but would fail. Thankfully, Vegeta jumps in his place and buys enough time for him to be sent back to the other timeline. Beerus then decides to go to Universe 6 and make sure that Hit is all good. He does so, and Vados uses her staff to show that Hit is just doing his usual thing. Beerus is pretty confused and then brings Goku with him to investigate Zamasu, and this would make Zamasu angry at Goku. But now that he knows someone far stronger than Goku exists after seeing the Hit fight, he's gonna take his body instead. Or at least he would. You know what I mean, the time paradox and stuff. Anyways, after that, the gang heads to Trunks' timeline and proceeds to get squashed by Hit Black. Future Zamasu also makes his appearance, and so now they stand even less of a chance. Without Mai to force Trunks to leave and distract Zamasu and Black, I don't think he's making it out. So now we've just got Goku and Vegeta, who both use the time chamber together. They're both too weak to do anything, so getting stronger is their only hope. They pull up and proceed to beat the two Zamasus up, but Hit Black adapts and uses his time skip. This is going to be able to keep up with Vegeta while Goku fights off Zamasu. Future Trunks would also be revealed to have survived just barely and would return, unlocking Super Saiyan Rage. With that, Goku and Vegeta are once again forced back into the past, leaving Trunks behind. At that point, Goku decides to learn the Mafaba, and Vegeta trains in the time chamber again, this time with Nappa. So the two head back once more with Bulma, and proceed to fight them again. They actually end up winning and turning the tide this time, but Hit Black and Zamasu decide to fuse into Merge Zamasu. It would look far different though, but anyway, they begin beating down everyone. Thankfully, Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks all adapt and end up turning the tide once more. And finally, Goku and Vegeta become Vegito for the first time and fight Zamasu together. They do end up defusing, and Trunks finishes the job with Zeno erasing everything though. After that, Trunks goes back to another version of his timeline, and the gang returns back to normal. Now the Tournament of Power would be announced, with our present Trunks and Nappa fighting in the exhibition match. And so once that is over, because Universe 7 is just going to clean sweep, it's now time to decide on our team's roster. The first half should be pretty clear. It'll be Goku, Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, and Nail. Next would be Androids 17 and 18, Piccolo, who had been training hard with Nail, Trunks, who had greater potential than Yamcha, essentially putting him on Krillin's level. So now we've got 9, and I think the next best choice would be Yamcha, who would be around Tenshinhan's level given that he hardly trains. I was going to suggest Jiro, but he doesn't really seem like the type to train, and augmenting himself would be pretty weird given that there are plenty of people who can defend Earth. Anyway, our team enters and the tournament begins. If anything doesn't change, I'll try not to mention it as much, and only mention the big changes. Android 18 would beat Universe 4's Wolf, but because she's doing it alone, it would be harder, so she will be open to Frost's attacks, meaning 18 gets eliminated here. Piccolo is going to take the place of Roshi here and solo Universe 4 before being beaten by Frost. Remember that this Piccolo is not as strong as Canon Piccolo. Thankfully, Vegeta saves him, and due to regeneration, he doesn't have to drop out like Roshi did. Yamcha is going to be fighting where Tenshinhan did originally, but would use the Spirit Ball rather than rushing in, so this leads to him staying in the tournament as well. Since we don't have too many top tier fighters on this team, Albany is going to beat down Nail and Trunks. Thankfully, Nail uses the Kaioken and would be able to contend with him, but if Nail is relative to Piccolo, his Kaioken multiplier isn't going to be enough to match a guy who fought Ultimate Gohan. This leads to Trunks being knocked out of the ring, and Android 17 saving Nail and knocking Albany out of the ring himself. Yamcha and Piccolo proceed to take out Universe 3's Hacks fighters like Damon, Shansa, and Gamisaurus, and get eliminated in the process. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we've already lost 4 members. So now Goku would face Jiren, unlocking Ultra Instinct Omen by being hit by his own blast instead of Spirit Bomb since he doesn't have that here. He proceeds to fight, but loses with Hit being eliminated afterward because he steps into fight like he did in canon. Raditz gives Goku his energy and the two go on to fight Kale and Caulifla. Meanwhile, Nappa and Nail fight Soundnell and Purina. The two are able to keep up with them, but when they get the Resolve Amp, they both proceed to get bodied pretty badly. This leads to both of them being eliminated right there. Now Universe 7 only has Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, and 17, so we're not looking very good at all. Thankfully, Goku reawakens Ultra Instinct Omen and beats Kefla though. 17, Raditz, and Goku then beat Universe 2's remaining trio and now are faced with Universe 3. 17, realizing what's going on, is going to go all out to beat the robots he and 18 did originally. Vegeta also beats Koichi Raider rather than Gohan, since he isn't here. When Anilaza happens, our group is not going to be able to handle him. It took Blue Goku, Blue Vegeta, Golden Frieza, Ultimate Gohan, and Android 17 to hold this guy's blast back. 4 blue tier fighters. Here we've only got 3 of them, and Raditz, who doesn't even have God Key. So unfortunately, this is not going to go very well. 17 is going to have to act much faster than he did in the show, but even then, Raditz is still eliminated in place of 18. So now we've got our final 3 already. So after beating Anilaza, our team is now going to have to be much more strategic. They're not going to split up as much. Vegeta is going to go fight Toppo with 17, and Goku will fight Dispo. Goku, being a lot stronger than he was at the start, would eliminate Dispo on his own without any help. Vegeta and 17 are both getting beaten up by Toppo, but at least they're still alive. Or, in the ring, I guess. When Goku steps in, he is pushed to his god form, so now he's just gonna sauce on all 3 at once. Thankfully, Vegeta adapts and unlocks Blue Evolution, managing to barely defeat Toppo like he did in the show. So now our 3 are forced to fight Jiren, but this isn't gonna go so well either. With no Kaioken, it'll be much harder for Goku to keep up, so he's gonna be taken down much faster and be out of commission. 17 then does his fake death, and Vegeta must use his remaining strength to buy time for Goku. He does so, giving him his energy before being eliminated. Now Goku fights Jiren alone, completing Ultra Instinct, and would be so close to victory, but would collapse. 17 then returns to fight Jiren off, but Jiren wouldn't collapse to him alone. It took both him and Frieza beating him down for him to go to his knees, so I think that Jiren would at least do substantial damage to 17 and then collapse. The android struggles to stand as Toppo gives Jiren his speech. He would try his best to blast Jiren out of the ring, and would eventually manage to do so. So now, even though the team sucked, they managed to win the tournament. And with that, the Broly movie remains the same, but with Berry Blue instead of Frieza, and no Paragus death or fusion. They just beat Broly much sooner. And since I don't cover the Super manga, that's the end of What If Goku Landed on Namek. It's unfortunate that we had to speed through everything, but most of the arcs didn't really have much to offer realistically. And if I were to split this into multiple parts, they would just be too short. So just coming back to the series with a decently sized finale was the best option. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the series, as it was one of the first on my channel. But as always, tell me if you like this series, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, have a great day.